Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's episode 3. I like it. I like that we're rolling with this. It's actually episode 3. It's cool. So we're not messing up just yet. And if you're new here, my name's Adnan, and on this show we talk about motivation, inspiration, and all things creative with a bunch of inspiring people and creative people from all around the world. And that includes you guys watching this. So in the comments, join the conversation. Make sure if you have any questions, if you have anything to say, write it down. Both Hadi and I can read this. And that brings me to my guest for today. His name is Hadi Sarieddine. He is a musician, a producer, singer-songwriter, all-around creative person. And we're going to be digging into how he went from the corporate world, from a 9-to-5 in a suit, to being a full-time musician, signed to Universal Music. We're going to dig into that and a lot more right after the intro. Hadi, how's it going, my friend? What is up?
It's going very well. How are you?
I am good, man. First things first, if you guys can hear us and see us okay, do let us know in the comments. I am still new to this, so there's a lot of times where technical errors and maybe a couple of mutes have happened. So make sure you give us a thumbs up or just let us know all's good.
Yeah.
How you holding up with the lockdown?
It's pretty much like normal life for me, to be honest. I don't like I'm usually at home if I'm not working on stuff that involves me being out of the house. So yeah, I'm starting to like some days I feel it. Some days I wake up and I'm just like, man, like it feels genuinely like a lockdown.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm okay. Like I'm trying to keep busy, trying to stay healthy mentally and physically and all of that stuff. So what about you, man?
It's been interesting because we just had a kid. Well, not just. I mean, it was 6 months ago, but we've been kind of hibernating as a family unit anyway. More so Tara, my wife, than myself. But it's been a smooth transition, so to say, because we've just been spending time at home with the kid. So it's been cool. And also,
nice.
JM lives down the road from me, and we've been doing a lot of recording. So the most I've gone is down the road to JM's house and back.
Yeah.
It hasn't been.
It's just living the hustle life, man. Just going after it. So
absolutely,
that's the thing, you know.
And speaking of the hustle life, I want you to take us all the way back to day job, suit and tie. What in your head went? You know what? I wanna go so far off this path to make music work. What was that like?
Oh man, dude, that was a little crazy. And sometimes when I think about it, it feels like it's like, how can this be part of one lifetime? Like it's crazy because I, graduated from university, got a job. I was in Kuwait. I worked for a couple of years, and then for people who know me, maybe have heard the story before, but I've basically had anxiety problems while on the job in Kuwait, and it was pretty serious actually. Like I think that was one of the probably the lowest moment in my life. And then I was like, you know what, maybe it's the job. And I had been doing music at the time, just not full time, So then left Kuwait, came to Dubai, had a job as well. The job was great, honestly. Like, there was nothing wrong with the job. I had the same issues again, and it was like a year and a half after. And I just realized that, you know what, in order for me to be happy, maybe I just need to go, delve in and go after this thing, this music dream of mine, and just go all in, basically. You know what I mean? No plan Bs, plan A. And that's what I did, and it was kind of a kamikaze move. That's around the time I met you as well, and life just kind of like, I mean, man, like you're somebody who does what they love for a living. It's not easy, and you stick your neck out, and a lot of times you're not really sure. Like you can't sell it in a conversation to people. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, yeah.
You can't. Like what your day-to-day logic does not make a lot of sense. If you start to think about it from the traditional logic, at least the traditional logic that I was raised in, and I'm sure it's the same. It's like it's the Arab logic, or it's most people's logic. Because the same stories hold true, wherever you go around the world. Nobody wants their kid to want to be a musician or to want to do something that's unstable. Everybody, all our parents want us to be in stable jobs and have the safety net and all that stuff. So,
and
yeah,
what I got was, just make music on the side. Like, how is it even a thing to make it full time? It's just okay. Don't stop music. Just make it on the side. That's kind of the
Like, music is nice, but you should have a job. You know what I mean? So it was one of those, man. Like, and I can say this now. I definitely did every possible thing. Like, I had to not tell the entire truth to my parents about what I was doing, and I had to like weasel my way through just so they can get better sleep at night while I was doing my thing. And right now things are a lot better, and hopefully it just continues to grow. And but yeah, honestly, I feel like as hard as the path has been, I wouldn't change a thing, because when you're down in the gutter and things aren't, like, almost nothing is working for you, but you still have this voice inside you that's telling you to keep going and that things are going to turn out okay. These are special moments that you can only experience during troubled times, when it's like pitch black darkness, but you still see that little light. It's subtle, but you see it.
So for you moved here with the intention of doing music or production stuff on the side, or did that just kind of develop as you moved to Dubai from Kuwait?
When I moved here, I had no interest in producing music for other people, to be honest. I just wanted to do my thing, and I wanted to do it like just a bit more seriously than Kuwait. That was my intention. I never came here with the intent. Yeah, go ahead.
Were you producing music for other people in Kuwait?
No, not at all, actually. Even Benevolence early stuff was produced by like a friend of mine, So I only got into producing music for other people through you guys. You know what I mean? And you guys were my first victims. So
and a little bit of context here for the people that don't know. Hadi is the person that produced, recorded, and even co-wrote some of the songs from the first Svengali EP and the album Theory of Mind. And he's the guy that when I think it was like 2013, I sent you the first couple of demos. You're like, I think there's something here. You need to come over and hash this out. So Svengali was the first band that was recorded at Haven Studio.
I think it was you guys, and there's Aramaic as well. I think they were happening at the same time. I can't remember, to be honest. Like, I can't remember the timeline now, but definitely in the first, first victims for sure.
So, producing other people wasn't on the list, but did it? Because Anna, for me, I don't have the patience whatsoever to even think of anyone else's song.
Get out of here.
If they're like, hey man, what do you think of this vocal line? I don't know, man. It's what you already did, so that's the only thing I accept. But Senta, did you learn from working with us, with Aramaic, with anyone else over the years? Did this kind of shape what you do now?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And I think if anything, I learned a little bit more compassion towards myself, because when you're producing someone else, you're kind of, as a producer, you should be in control of the room, of how it feels to be in that room, because that's where the music comes from. If the room doesn't feel good, whether there's 2 people or 10 people in there, it's up to the producer to manage. And even the producer can make those calls. Well, not make those calls, but make those suggestions, like the number of people that should be there, because essentially you're there to do work, but in the same time, you're there to be comfortable enough to be vulnerable, to allow things to come out of you that because I mean, like, why would you hire a producer, right? Because you want them to pull something out of you that you may not necessarily like. You may not necessarily make those decisions or go to those places on your own, So a producer very much goes in that, like, kind of coaches or augments certain things. So for me, like, seeing that happen and me not being on the receiving end, me being the guy producing, but seeing how it impacts everything, it definitely impacts the way I work now on music. And don't get me wrong, I'm still very much. I don't know if we're supposed to cuss here or not.
You can
I'll keep
cuss.
it clean,
You
but
can cuss. It's Facebook.
okay. I am a fucking asshole to myself all the time. All right, all the time when I'm whether it's writing songs or producing songs or whatever, all that stuff. I am my worst critic, and I think that's a double-edged sword because that's what allows quality to increase.
Yeah.
But that's also sometimes a little. I'm sure you vibe 100% to this because I know you're somebody who just like, your attention to detail and all of that stuff. So
the issue with me is that sometimes I am my own worst enemy, and I am the critic that's like super hard and I genuinely cannot get out of that rut. But then sometimes I just need to disconnect and have someone else be like, "Yo, do that again."
Yeah.
Or that song sucks, or just have someone completely outside of my own head because I think.
Yeah.
And I know you relate to this. When that spiral starts, you end up on the other side very quickly.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's look, whether you have, like, for me, I'm producing my stuff, and I think you guys with the new record, you guys did it, right? Like, you guys produced it.
Yeah, JM and I, yeah.
Okay, so I mean that there's a nice feeling also in the room when it's just the band, it's just the people involved, it's just the people who hold a stake in this and the royalties and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a cool feeling when it's just, there's a certain level of abandonment in the sense it's like, who's gonna like this and who's gonna hate it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you start to wonder, but at the same time, like, it's very important to have a crew of people around you that you bounce ideas off of, who for a fact will tell you what they feel and will not sugarcoat it, and they don't, like, they're happy hurting you for a few minutes for your own good. You know what I mean? So I think that's super important.
So for me, JM was that guy. For those watching, JM is the guitarist in Svengali, which a lot of you met on this channel before. We did a live stream that we had to delete because we showed you a bunch of sneaky new Svengali stuff. But JM was that guy for me. He was where I just left, like, all the mental stuff that I was going through, he would handle. He'd be like, "Yo, that sucks.
Yeah.
Let's do this again. Let's scrap this entire vocal take and try it again."
Yeah. Nice.
Let me interject here for 1 second, guys. This thing in the corner is, if you share the stream, your name pops up. So I want to see a couple of names here. Right now it says my name. I've shared the stream, obviously. But I want to see a couple of more people that are interested in the creative process and all the talks. Get sharing, man. So let's talk about some ups and downs. We've talked about some, like, halfway through the journey. You're here producing other bands and stuff. But the in your own head thing we were talking about, kind of, it doesn't just apply to what you were doing, because you were working on your band Benevolent and your solo stuff at the same time. But has there ever been a moment where you're just like, you know what, I know I mentally am committed to this, but it's just not worth it?
Yeah, for sure. I've, like, sometimes you're just, you start to wonder, like, is what I'm doing the right thing? If it's like, إذا بدها تشتي كان غيمت, you know what I mean? Like, no, it's like
you gotta translate that.
It's not gonna happen. If it's going to rain, why no clouds? Basically, it's like, there's, when you feel like there are no signs of anything good coming down this road for you, it's just a bit, it's very disheartening. So I've definitely had my moments, and you just go through them, and you just get through it, and you get through it without really focusing on the fact that you need to get back on the horse. You just get through it, and whatever feels right. Like, if you can't do it anymore, seriously can't do it anymore, like, if you have it in you to stop, then maybe it's not for you, basically. You know what I mean?
I've said this on this channel before. My version of a solution for like self-doubt and that that speed bump, the obstacle you hit, everyone hits at one point when you're trying to do something new or something out of the box. My solution has always been, or has recently become, just kind of fuck yourself over and dive head first into it until it becomes a thing.
So what an action is that? Like, give me an example.
This live stream, what I did, and it turned into this. And even when it comes going back to vocals and stuff like that, I was never a vocalist. I never tried that before, and it just kind of happened. And the first thing we did is Unscathed as a vocalist, as a full EP. So those are. I think that's a hardcore approach to that solution for sure.
But I like that, man. I like that. Like I think the most closest thing I can say to what you're saying now is, like pre-show anxiety. I don't know what it's like for you, right now, but for me, like I went through a phase where I would get really nervous, and I still do. Like I get you're supposed to get nervous when you're playing a show, but I think that for me, the thing that allows me to just kind of let loose and enjoy is telling myself exactly what my fears are telling me. You know what I mean? Like all sorts of things, whether it's you're going to go up on stage and people are going to think you're weird, or people are not going to like the way you sing, or people are not going to like your songs or your performance. And it's just more like a so what, you know what I mean? Like, okay, come at me. You know what I mean? That kind of approach. And so I feel like maybe that's a little bit on the same wavelength, and it gives me so much liberty. You know what I mean? And maybe you doing this live stream is giving you that, like, there's a side of you that's like, who would care? Why would I want to do this? It's extra work. I don't 100%. Know if I like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna do it good, and it's gonna be up to my standard, and I'm gonna kill it. So yeah, it's awesome. It goes back
to something I'm pretty sure we've talked about, you and I, when we were doing the Svengali stuff. I always say, whether it's a song or a video or a live stream or something like that, if it changes one person's mind, one person's mood, if it entertains or makes them feel better, if one person gets something out of this, then it's worth it at the end of the day.
So and maybe that person is you. Maybe like that, the person getting a kick out of it is just you, and that's enough. Maybe,
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Let's jump to the comments real quick because they're piling up. Munir Baalbaki, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. He says loud and clear. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. I'm so sorry, but sup? I'm so glad.
How do I see the comments? This is like a millennial problem. How do I?
Are you on the video stream?
Yes, sir. Oh, there they are.
Yeah. Gorgon says, hey boys, what is up? Gorgon, thank you for tuning in.
What's up?
Misha Al-Asmar says, Hadi did an awesome job on all the Aramaic recording. He is the hidden band member. What a talent. Absolutely. You want to tell me a little bit about...
the comments.
He knows how to make music, but he doesn't know how to click the comments box.
Yep, that's me.
You wanna talk a little bit about your, how do I put this? Your input into a band or artist you're producing, and how, if any, like a piece of yourself goes into that music. Does that ring any bells?
Yeah, I think it's first of all, when like at the time, like I'm doing way less production work right now because it's a really busy time. But let's say a band wants to work with me, or an artist wants to work with me. The initial thing is like for me to try to realize how much they're willing to let me in. You know what I mean? Like how much, like, okay, they're hiring me, whatever. Money is money, man. We don't do this for money. You know what I mean? I mean, it sure helps for sure, but it's got to be like, I'm sure you've said no to certain things that have come along just because it doesn't feel right. Even if the money is good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's got to be right. It's got to feel right because you're putting your name and your brand behind it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I think you're cutting off.
Are you better? Is it better now?
I don't know if you said something. Yeah. I didn't know if I was cutting you off. So
no. I think there's a delay. There's a lag.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So for me, I think it comes down to how much the artists are willing to let me in. So like with you guys, with Grey Fade, with Aramaic, with Moon Stuff as well, there's just so much trust, and there's so much like, let's do this as a team and let's do this as a unit. and it doesn't matter the idea, like where the ideas come from. What matters is the end goal, and that's like it's just like it just inspires you, man. Like you just want to like get like go to the space, go to that creative space right now, and you want to create some cool stuff, regardless of genre. Because honestly, I don't think genre is the thing in question here. You know, obviously it has to be something that I know how to do, but I think it comes down like if the band or the artist is going to allow me in, and it's something that I connect with, it's going to be loads of fun, lots of laughs, fireworks. You know what I mean? That's my experience with it. So, yeah.
That's actually a great segue into the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about is you've compiled all that. This is where you and I's story kind of separate because they've been somewhat similar up until now, minus the producing other people. But like we've had the same trajectory, and then you took all that experience, all that information, all that knowledge, and then exactly like you said, it gave you a creative boost. You wanted to create more. You took it and started doing your solo stuff.
Yeah.
So there was always Hadi's solo stuff, kind of like YouTube covers and a bunch of
lingering. Yeah.
There's always been that guy. That guy's always been around, but you never like committed to that sound. What from all that stuff made you go, you know what? I actually that's not just a YouTube cover channel. This is kind of the thing I want to do. This is the stuff I love doing.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's because I creatively want to be so active, because I have a rush of ideas, and I hope it's the same throughout my life. Some I mean, you have days where you don't have ideas, but for the most part, there's like I just have this hunger to create, and I wanted to take that and put it into something where I was the spearhead of the project. I make the decisions, and I can take this in any direction I want. And it's like I didn't have to like it was just about me. You know what I mean? And it had a lot to do with me kind of journeying into gaining confidence to be a singer, because
almost like a self-discovery kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think the thing that really clicked for me, man, was like this thing I told myself, and I think it was like a dream I had, or some like daydream kind of situation, where it's like genre-less exploration, because I listen to so much music from so many different, like everything. I listen to pretty much everything. You know what I mean? And so like genre-less exploration is just like this thing that kind of like it was a click. So it's like I still have my fears, like what kind of song is this, what genre is this, that my mind is trying to like ones and zeros and black and white. But I'm slowly starting to accept that, you know, I want to create music that may not necessarily fall into one clear category of genre. It's just something that feels good. So for me, this was the driving force for me to create something that was just all about me. I can wake up at 3 a.m., finish a song, it's done. There's no back and forth, and it was just my thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This is making me sound like a self-indulgent asshole. But
no, dude,
it's the truth.
I've said this before. If I could grab a guitar, play something, and sing at the same time, that'll be something I definitely explore. Unfortunately, all of you and Hadi and everyone else on this chat knows I can't sing for shit. I
have no idea what you're talking about, man.
I could scream. I could scream for sure, but if you want me to hit a note, I will curb stomp it before I even reach that.
My equilibrium is still damaged from you trying to hit notes during the recording sessions.
We're not going to talk anymore about my singing. We're going to jump straight into the comments. Tara says a lot of Arabic going on. Arabic going on here, يعني. I mean, we throw a couple of Arabic words here and there. We got to.
Yeah.
Ramzi Raman's in the house. He says Hadi with some horns up. Thank you, Ramzi, for tuning in. Ramzi is actually someone that I've not been meaning. He's done his part. We're doing collaboration on a cover that's been like, I think it's been 6 months, but
dude,
it's been
I'm going to say something about Ramzi, right? Besides the fact that he's one of the nicest guys that I've ever met in my life, I've never heard a guitarist play with a more crystalline, like he is the most defined guitar player that I've heard, and like I really mean it. Like and I'm not trying to. This is not a competitive thing. It's just that when that guy plays, you listen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And yeah, he's incredible.
Absolutely. I've been just shit at getting that collab done, but we are doing it. We figured out a way where I could record from my house, and JM has his station, and we're connected over the internet where he could tell me what to do, all that stuff. So we'll get a collab
Sweet.
done very, very soon. Ghaith is in the house. What the hell is up, Ghaith? How's it going? Thank you for tuning in.
What's up, Ghaith?
Ala's in the house. What is up? She sends a wave.
What's up?
Where were we? Where in this journey have we come to? It's been...
I have no idea.
It's been a couple of years where you're doing music
Yeah.
full time, or was it like freelancing? Because
Yeah, a little bit, but I think it's getting more and more on the full-time side as we speak.
basically,
obviously now times are a bit strange, but
yeah.
Sorry, you're cutting.
No, sorry. I was saying basically a lot of people on this channel, either videographers, photographers, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
starting their businesses,
Creatives.
in general, that I really think can benefit from just stories of people either achieving their goal or failing and keeping going and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
when it came to you, it wasn't like you decided to make music full time and then just went, cool. Universal Music hit me up. There was a couple of years where
Nope.
you tell us about that. There was a bunch of years where you did stuff on the side. You were also trying to make music. You were trying to make time.
Yeah, so in 2015, halfway through 2015, I was approached to do a record and to have it basically ready by the end of the year, which I did, but that didn't go through. It didn't go anywhere, and that kind of like it was a little bit of a painful experience because I put everything into making that album. In hindsight, I'm so glad it worked out the way it did. But back then, I was like, man, nothing's working. You know what I mean? So 2016 rolls in. 2016 was a very strange year for me in all aspects of my life. And musically, man, like it was, I remember every gig I'd play in 2016, I'd try a new setup. Because at the beginning of 2016, I played a gig with Josh, who drums for you guys and sings as well. And he was on drums with me and Alan on bass, and it was incredible. But then after that, you know, you like, I think Josh had left town. I can't remember the timeline, but basically in 2016, I got a lot of gigs where, you know, it was a small setting. And so I'd play like with a looper and I tried different things and it just didn't feel good. And it was a very experimental year. And
not being
go ahead.
Not being a creative approach for you to just go solo. I mean, solo in terms of band-wise as well. It was just something that kept coming up.
Yeah. I mean, it was part of the road. You know what I mean? And the moment I started writing songs in 2015, it's like I opened a can of worms, and the songs kept coming and coming and coming, and I got way more active. And I think it was difficult for me to decide that being solo is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. That was a few months of deliberation, if not more. But then it felt like the right thing to do. And 2017, I was approached to audition for one of those singing shows. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say which one, but I'll just say some singing show.
Traditional kind of like judges singing show. That's what we're...
Yeah. Traditional judges singing show. So I auditioned. And I had auditioned for this show the year before on my own. Like I submitted and they like crickets, nothing, zero, zilch, right? And so they reach out, somebody from their whatever team reaches out and says, you know, we think you should audition. And actually they called me just when I walked into the fridge and I had a gig. I was opening for Sarieddine that day. It was January. So I was like, wow, this is so cool. I'm going to be famous instantly. And then I submit my stuff and then they call me back for a second audition, which is in person. And that's not the TV one. It's like the one before you get on TV. And that's as far as I went. Like I didn't go further than that. Which bumped me out in the moment. But also that audition was super strange, man. Like I walked in and I had my guitar with me, and I'd never sang without a guitar before. And this is 2017, so this was before I realized, like, not realized, this was before I put in the work to build my vocal range. You know what I mean? So it was a very like one octave version of me, right? And then I go into the audition, and they're like, "We need you to sing without the guitar." So I'm like, "What now?" So I put the guitar aside, and it was terrible.
For those that don't know, I might be speaking on your behalf a little bit here, Hadi. But for those that don't know, you primarily considered yourself a guitarist who
Yes.
knows how to sing. But you with
a guitarist who happens to sing.
But
yeah.
you without a guitar is something that I haven't seen up until recently.
Yeah, that was a decision I made last year. It was part of I think last year when I opened for Tom Odell, that was the first show where I feel like I met live performer Hadi for the first time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everything before that felt like it was leading to that point. But anyway, the show thing didn't happen. That's 2017. And by the end of 2017, I'd kept writing songs and releasing them, but in my gut, I felt like don't release them officially. Just release them soft release, like on YouTube. Don't put them on any of the streaming things. Don't copyright them, just in case someone rolls in and they want to sign. You know.
What was the thought process behind that? Is it because to give it to a label or something down the line, or was it because you didn't think they were good enough?
No, it's because of the label thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted them to be available for me to take down and then have them like officially released through the label, which is actually exactly what happened with Universal, which was hooked up by my good friend Sean Warner. He set up a meeting, and we hit it off, and it went from there. And I think the song that got me the meeting was Medicine, which was on my YouTube channel. I released it in July, and this meeting happened in like October, if I'm not mistaken. So it was cool. Like it was like I hadn't even thought about this. Like I'm just realizing it now that it actually did happen kind of the way that that my gut was telling me. So this is kind of cool. But yeah, man, like since signing with Universal and releasing songs with them, it's been just another different kind of journey in the sense that I'm writing songs, and every song is like a fresh new experience, and it's all singles based rather than album based. Even though I did put out a record late last year. Yeah, man, it's been a very interesting road. Continues to be.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, because Universal is a major label. It's one of the big ones, and I can imagine that not only the things that they could provide in terms of you being an artist and what they can bring to the table, but kind of the not satisfaction, but like the validation.
Yeah.
If there's a little 100%. bit of you know what, all this crazy hard work paid off. There are people whose job is full time to look for good music, and they picked you. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. So that's kind of my next point is that you and I have talked about this before years ago. But the definition of success for me has always been a very interesting subject. A lot of people think the definition of success is completely polar opposite to the next person, and for me, it's one of the. There's a lot of different variables, but one of the things is something like someone enjoying or changing someone's mood and the stuff we talked about before. If one person would enjoy it, but one of the definitions for me as well is being able to sustain yourself off the thing that you're doing, and if the thing you're doing is something you love, so you're sustaining off a passion of yours. I was just wondering what your definition of success is, given everything we just talked about and the insane journey.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, that's a really good way to put it. If you can stand on your feet and do what you love, I think that's got to be success, right? I mean, I think there's tangibles and intangibles. That's maybe a tangible thing, which I think is very important. It's 50% maybe of the equation, if not more. The intangible is like the stuff you spoke about, where you connect to people, you connect to someone, and you can feel it in the air. You can feel it when you're communicating with people, that these people, they don't know you personally, but your music is the reason why they're talking to you and why they're messaging you and commenting and liking your posts and following you and coming to your gigs and all of that. And this is I don't know. Like, this is so special, man, because, you know, we've all been through moments where it's like, you know, you write music, you release it, and there's absolutely nothing. Nobody's saying anything, and it's just silence, radio silence. And then, you know, to have people from across the world, you know, wanting to speak to you because they've heard your song or la la la, la, and they want you to travel to their country to play. It's just it's fucking amazing, man. It's so special. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like I think that's it for me. You know, so
That's a great. It's not. I think it encompasses everything that is very Hadi. Like it's just. It's more about vibe and more about connection than it is about anything else, which is something I completely appreciate. We're gonna jump back
I've got
into
a question
the comments.
for you.
Hit me with a question
for you,
and then we'll jump in the comments because they're piling up.
Let's read the comments. Hold on.
All right.
What's going on?
We got Brendan in the house. What is up, Brendan? Thank you for tuning in.
What's up, Brendan?
Sandy, hello. What's up, Sandy? How's it going? Shireen is in the house. Nicole is in the house. Fadi's in the house. Anthony Kiotyan's in the house, who's another musician from Lebanon, who's now in the Netherlands. Misho in the house. The guy from Aramaic, who we talked to earlier. Ola.
That's a good question. As a solo songwriter, when do you know that the song is ready and done?
Let's hit that one.
I think if you like if you write a song and you're like, if the chorus or parts of the song keep playing back in your head, and then the song kind of wraps up and is making sense to you, and it feels like it's almost there. I don't know if I'm answering this correctly because I feel like I went off. Ready and done. Yeah, I don't know. There's this thing by quote by Mike Portnoy. He says a song is never, or an album is never done, it's abandoned, and I 100% use that.
That was actually like a really famous quote by Da Vinci, by the way, because I've been using that since you and I spoke about it, and it's like some really insane, amazing quote from some old dude. Yeah. Yeah. That's me in history right there, by the way.
Freaking Mike Portnoy stole it, man.
But
I think it's when I think you listen to it, it feels good, it feels right, and none of the things that, like, if you can listen to a song front to back and not get an idea in your head that is not already in the song, I think it's finished. You know what I mean? Because you can sit and tinker for ages, but if it's not coming from like within, if it's not something that you need in the song for the song to exist, then it's probably done. You know? So let's see. There's some other stuff on here.
Anthony asked, is the connection bad for the rest of you guys? And Sandy says, no, it's fine on my side. Guys, always do let me know if anything messes up, because I'm very, very new to this and I'm still testing stuff out. Joy says, whoops, I think I put hello in the ask box. Ask us something box. So there is there's an ask box? There is. I tried to make a ask us stuff box, but I don't know if anyone's using it. Let us know if it works. As I said, we're fresh off the boat with this one. So if you see a box that says ask us stuff, put something in there. Let's see if it works out.
What are your biggest influences, Ola? I think we should both answer that.
Hit it.
For me, I think it's Coldplay, because they're awesome, and Linkin Park, because they've pushed the boundaries so much and they've kind of had a reboot a lot with their sound, and it's very brave, and they don't need to because they're big and people will listen to their music either way, but they push, and I think they're as big as they are because they keep pushing the envelope. James Arthur, he's an amazing singer, one of my biggest singing influences, and great songwriter as well. Bastille, love them as well. If you could open a show for any artist, I'm going to answer this and then you take over.
Hit it.
Who would it be? Coldplay. That's it. Okay, your turn.
That's a surprising answer for me, from you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would.
Who would you thought?
Well, for me personally, it'll be Metallica, always. I mean, until these guys retire, I'll always say I'd love to play a show where we open for Metallica. But Anna, for me, I thought you would go a lot more modern. I thought you would go Billie Eilish, what's his name? Ed Sheeran.
They're awesome, man. But Coldplay is like, I've been listening to Coldplay. I think I discovered Coldplay's music around the time I picked up the guitar, and so they've been with me from the start. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Let's keep going with the comments. Where did we go? John Baker says, that's it, validation of the music. That would be an awesome feeling. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think anyone that creates music and just one, like I keep repeating this, I know I'm a broken record, but one person coming out and saying, you know, that song changed my mood, that song made me feel this way, that's validation right there. I mean, Hadi got it to the nth degree getting signed to Universal Music, but it's just exponential versions of the same feeling, basically, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's some good questions in here. Favorite female singer? Oh man, that's so hard.
I can think of one.
about this.
I can think of one.
Go ahead.
For the metalheads. Tatiana from Ginger is a beast. That one's.
Man, these guys have blown up.
Yeah. They're amazing.
Nice, good on them.
All right. Joy says yes. Adnan, the definition.
What advice would you give to? Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just gonna go through all of them before we get to the questions. So Joy says yes. The definition is bang on. Thank you, Joy. Hamed's in the house. What is up? Episode 2 of the show. If you guys haven't seen it, it's gonna be on the page. John says great analogy. Thank you very much. We answered. Ola Taifi is in the house. What is up? Ahmed Munir is in the house. I'm so glad I didn't miss this, even though I am late. You're never late, man. It's always good to see you guys. So let's give Taifi's question a run. Do you want to go for that one?
Yeah. What advice would you give to new people who are trying to publish their own music but they are shy? Just fucking release it and don't think twice. Don't, because you release it and then if it's terrible, it's okay. You'll get better the next time. If it's great, amazing, it'll inspire you. You know. So don't. It's exactly what Adnan was saying before about fucking yourself over. Basically, commit to the fact that you're going to release the song, set a date, put deadlines. I think this was one of the most important things if you're functioning as a solo artist or as a solo person in a project, whether it's music or outside of music. And I'm sure Adnan has stuff to add to this. It's like you basically have to work on your own. You are your own boss. You are you control the calendar. You are the admin assistant. You set up the meetings. You set up the deadlines. And if you keep saying next time, it's gonna never happen. Go ahead.
One more thing is, on top of all of the good stuff, you're also the only person responsible for the downfall, right? Which I think is the main thing that steers people away from this kind of stuff. Is when it does go well, it goes well, you can take all the credit, but when it flops, you're the only one responsible. And I think a lot of people don't know how to come back from a flop where you're the only one responsible, where I think the actual, let's call it entrepreneurship path, that fight to do what you are passionate about, falls in those little fuck-ups. It's not about the times you didn't struggle, it's all about the times you did. That's kind of my take on it, and I think that's where a lot of people not shy away, but a lot of people kind of like get thrown back, because who wants to look back and go, you know what, I really did mess that up by myself.
Yeah. I don't know. One more thing to add to that is, like, perfectionism is not your friend. Perfectionism is a bad person, and you should not be friends with perfectionism because it will stop you from doing things.
There's a quote. I don't know where I heard it. It must be some YouTuber or something that I was watching. But done is better than perfect. I absolutely, absolutely love.
That's genius, man. That's so spot on.
I'd rather have a song done. I'd rather have a dish. If I'm doing culinary arts, I'd rather have a video done. I'd rather have a vlog done. I'd rather have a live stream.
Because then you have something to reference. You know what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to learn if you don't have something to مش compare to, but you know what, maybe compare to, but not يعني in the beginning when you're starting off, if you're a new artist, People haven't heard anything from you before. You should just put it out and just see how people feel. Most likely your friends will hear it in the beginning, people who know you personally, and then slowly, you'll start reaching people who don't know you personally. And that could be a quick process, it could be a slow one, but it's a fun process either way. You know what I mean? Especially when you're not in a position like, don't jump ship, quit your job and do music full time if you've never released a song before. That's a bad idea. You know what I mean? You should flirt with it first and see how it goes and build yourself up,
Absolutely. Just like anything else, I think. Just like anything else you do in life.
100%.
Let's keep going through the comments a little bit. Tara says, I'm using it. Wow, an awesome ask box. Thank you, Judy. Judy, what's up? Thank you for tuning in. Dan is asking, Saint Anger?
Yes.
No. That should tell you all about the two people.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, there's two types of people in the world. Ones who like and ones who don't like.
For those of you that have no idea what the hell we're talking about, Metallica released an album in 2004 that split the audience in half. It was called Saint Anger. Half the crowd liked it and half the crowd didn't, and that's what Dan is referencing there. Nicole is asking, which is your favorite female singer? Oh, we answered that. Yes, Tatiana. Ahmed says Tatiana is amazing. Gorgon says, I don't know if you have answered this already, but how did you work on the transition from the music you were making before and now? We did answer that a little bit, but do you want to touch on that again, Hadi?
Yeah, I mean, this was a hard one, man. Like, and even the snare. That was a hard one for me because I felt like I was going to be judged so much, and I think I was judging myself, and I was prepared for everyone to like disown me for releasing the type of music that like just going through the shift, and those were things that really kept me up at night and they scared me. But having said that, honestly, it felt, for me inside, it felt like the right thing to do. It felt like I wanted to do it, and it felt real, and that was enough for me to just go through with it. And if I was gonna fall flat on my face, that's okay. So I think there was a little bit of a we're gonna do this, and we're just gonna do it basically. So
there's a hint of I don't know I'm gonna use the word ignorance, but I know it's not that. That's not the term. But there's a hint of recklessness. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
Recklessness to doing this kind of stuff. All right, let's go through the comments again. Tatiana is awesome. Good choice. Thank you, Sandy. Alrighty, then going to release my song right now, and we'll see how it goes. Taifi, I think you should. I really do. John Baker says, Alyssa Whitegloves, female singer, broke all the barriers at the time. Absolutely. And her, predecessor? Angela Gosso from the OG Arch Enemy singer, I think broke even more barriers. Boo, Saint Anger, Tara. Dan is laughing at our response. So is John Baker. Munir says even the snare, but you answered that. Judy, between teaching online 6th graders, Judy, you are a hero. Anyone that's working to benefit everyone that's staying at home, to make sure everyone's safe, all the medical staff, every teacher, grocery delivery guy, everyone that's helping protect the world. Thank you guys so much, man. Judy, you're an amazing person. Hamid says, done, not perfect is something to live by for creatives. Yeah. Absolutely. Fadi Shami, the snare was sponsored by Tifal. I think he's talking about Saint Anger there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So another question. If you could change anything about the industry, what would it be? Damn, that cuts deep. Oh my God,
that's deep.
That cuts real deep.
So much and very little. That's the answer, because if I had my own version of the industry, it would be very different, and it would all be geared towards me being the center of attention, and I would get all the advantages. But in reality, honestly, I feel like I'm learning about the industry as I go, and the more I think I know it, the more I learn new things and realize that I have no fucking idea about a lot of things in the industry. So I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't have a good answer to this question, but it's definitely something worth thinking about, I personally like the streaming world that we're living in. I'm a consumer of streaming music,
I do too.
and I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot, and I think there's always money to be made. There's always I don't know. What about you, man? What do you think? Like, help me out here.
Well, the only thing I would change about the industry is just make it more creator friendly. So far, up until now, there's been a the record label, the distribution, the CD, that kind of stuff to get the artwork from the creative to the audience. And now that distribution channel has been shortened. You guys are tuning in now to a page called Adnan. We are talking about creative stuff without a TV channel. You could listen to Svengali on Spotify straight from where we mixed and mastered it.
Everyone's a media agency, basically.
Exactly. So what I would like to see is a little more of that path, making it easier for the creative to sustain themselves. A lot more than it has been as far, which is something that like people like Patreon.com have been working on. People like where you can get a subscription-based subscription to your favorite content creator or something like that. Which I think is very important. But that's something I would change. I wouldn't necessarily change anything about the industry. I would just change their format somehow. Hope that answers your questions. Tara asks, what's your secret guilty pleasure music?
I don't really have guilty pleasure right now, to be honest, because it's like I've went through the phase where I'm like, let's make the music that I would be guilty pleasure making it. I don't know if that is a viable sentence, but yeah, I'll try to think of something that I wouldn't want people to publicly know that I listen to. But you go ahead.
I don't know how you made that sound dirty, but if I was to have any guilty pleasure music, it's not something that I'm ashamed of. I actually said this once in an interview when they were asking me about Svengali. I don't remember if it was an interview. I think it was actually Dana's podcast, who's in the chat right now. I think I said it on your podcast, and someone sent me a message. Sorry, I muted myself there for a second. I love Beyonce's Lemonade album. I don't know if it's her last or latest or anything, but I listened to it once, and I was like, even a lot of people hated the album because it was like a team of people and it wasn't an artist writing and stuff. And I'm like, hey man, even if it's a full-on company, they released a great album. So that might 100%. Be my guilty pleasure, secret guilty pleasure, not secret anymore. Let's look. John Baker saying, got to give it to each person who dedicated their time in a different world these days to ensure our younger generation still moves forward, and to do it in an overnight scenario, amazing. Hats off. Absolutely, John Baker. I don't know why I keep saying your full name. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John Baker.
The name flows. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Misho says, what artist we should be listening to that we aren't? That's a good question. You have your ear more to the underground than I do, I believe. I think. Anyway, I don't know if I'm correct on that.
So, my friend, this is for people, because I think the people in watching right now are more on the rock metal kind of thing. So I will suggest something that my good friend Brendan put me onto recently, Sleep Token. They are incredible. Like, basically, if James Arthur started a death metal band, it would be that band. The vocals are pop.
I have no idea what that reference means.
Well, okay, so wrong crowd. Okay, so basically the singer is like a pop singer.
Okay.
Pop caliber singer, like full on amazing. Not that singers and not in pop are, but you know what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and the music is like a mix between really heavy and beautiful Tesseract type moments. It's amazing. That would be a suggestion for me. Sleep Token.
For me, I could only think of like honestly, I know it sounds cheesy, but a lot of Middle Eastern and local bands are releasing an album that Hadi produced, which is I've listened to a bunch of the tracks. I think that's sick.
It's massive, man. It's a great record. Scarab
from Egypt just released their album. Creative Waste from Saudi Arabia just released their album. Imagine being metal in Saudi Arabia. It took them 20 years to play a show in their hometown.
Wow.
There's just write Middle Eastern metal, and you'll find a bunch of amazing stuff. I think being a metalhead in general is really hard. Being a metal band is even harder, and being a metal band in the Middle East requires a whole new level of stubbornness that I don't think a lot of people have.
But I think that also drives because you've already got a chip on your shoulder walking into this. You know what I mean? So it's like I think you get driven by it. You get driven by the odds in some way. At least that's like not for everybody, but you've got like the ones active right now. They're definitely being driven by that kind of. The odds are against us. We're gonna rise against this.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's jump back into the comments. Do you want to go, Hadi? Do you want to take Munir?
Yeah.
So Munir says,
sorry, you were cutting off, man. I couldn't hear you.
So Munir says, in terms of democratization of the content creation and distribution, I fully agree with you guys, but the business model is dysfunctional to say the least. That's something to consider.
Yeah.
Completely agree with you, man.
100%.
I mean, there's a lot of the time it's just we're thinking of the best case scenario, but you're 100% correct. Dana says, ain't no shame in Beyonce. Thank you very much, Dana, for being on my side. I still don't agree with you about Saint Anger, but Sleep Token are awesome. Keith is in the house. Thank you, Keith, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Arla says, to both, what's your favorite part or thing about performing?
Ooh. You go first.
Oh, man. What's my favorite thing about performing? I think just connecting with someone, connecting with people, with anything. I mean, there's a bunch of people here that have seen Svengali live, that have seen me perform, and I think I, as a performer, give the mic more to the crowd than I do actually sing, because one of the things that completely blows my mind is when anyone would know a single word of a song that I worked on, or a song that I wrote, or lyrics that I wrote about something that was deep and meaningful and personal to me, and they internalized it and made it something their own. So I think for me, it's just about human connection, I guess.
Yeah, man, 100%. I think it's the same for me, but there's also one thing. You know that feeling when you walk into a venue, it's sound check, it's empty. There's a sound in the space, like some buzz or whatever. And it's like you just get that feeling.
The smell from the night before.
Yes, and you just get that feeling. Like, I love that. I love walking into a venue and standing right where the crowd would be, just watch the stage as people are setting stuff up before it's your turn to go up and do something. I love arriving super early to the venue and spending as much time at the venue before the show. Moments before you get on stage, when you're somewhere where people can't see you, and then you're just trying to peek in to see. These are like super special moments. Obviously love performing as well, and that's super special, but for me, those moments just before you go up,
the calm before the storm,
you just get this you get this fuzzy feeling in your solar plexus, like, man, I'm so happy I get to do this. This is so special,
Absolutely. Ahmed Munir says, Spotify recommended Sleep Token a while back, and I have been listening to them a lot. They are great. That's awesome. That was an awesome suggestion. That's something I want to check out. Hamid says, well said. Read chip on your shoulder, Hadi. Totally agree. Metalheads are underdogs and have more to prove, so they get stuff done despite the odds. Absolutely, man. I think I said this on your episode, Hamid. I think being a metalhead doesn't necessarily mean you like heavy music and you only believe in one thing, but I think being a metalhead is kind of like an attitude of just going against the odds, because the entire history of metal has been just fighting against the odds, fighting against the norms, going against radio. They won't put you on MTV. Fuck it, we'll make our own MTV. That kind of stuff, which Hamid has been a part of. I mean, he's started the first metal radio show in the Middle East. And so, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Brendan says, bands like Leprous and Agent Fresco are driving metal in a new direction. They've been doing it for years now.
Nice.
Ramsey is asking about the loudness war.
Is that still happening?
I was just about to say that's something I want to pass off to you. And if JM, if you're still tuned in, reply in the comments because he knows more about it. But do you have anything on that?
I haven't heard the term loudness war in a while, so I'm guessing it's not really a thing anymore. Like I'm not really sure, especially with the compression from that you get on YouTube and Spotify and all of that stuff. I'm not really sure how these things work anymore. But yeah, I'm not knowledgeable, to be honest.
No worries. So we're Nicole wrote in. Oh, okay. So I translated. Sorry, Nicole, you wrote in Italian, and I had to hit C translate. So Nicole's saying you absolutely have to listen to Hadi's music. You would love it. To Alberto.
Thank you.
And Alberto is saying on YouTube, seriously, what kind is it? Just check it out, Alberto. And Nicole, thank you very much for plugging it.
Yeah, thank you.
So this kind of answers Judy's question. Let's refresh because there seems to be a bunch of new people here. Who is this guest? I came late.
Who the hell is this guy?
Who is this guy? So
who the fuck is this guy?
So my intro, I'll pass it off to Hadi. His name is Hadi. I'll pass it off to Hadi in a bit, but he's a musician, a producer, and all-around creative. He does a bunch of artwork based in Dubai, full-time musician, and we're talking about how his entire journey from being a full-time corporate guy into a full-time musician. Hadi, you want to take it away?
Yeah. I'm a singer-songwriter from Lebanon, based in Dubai. I am signed with Universal Music, and all the stuff that Adnan said.
That's that's basically it.
All right.
Misha says Hadi and Svengali had an amazing identity from logo to visuals to artwork. How important is the brand in artists' success these days? From my side, I think it's one of the most important things. It's one of the most important things ever, just because everyone has the same access that you do. They have the same upload button on CD Baby to get their distribution out. They have the same upload button on YouTube. They have the same upload button on Facebook. So I think your brand and identity kind of is interlaced in your product itself. And Misha asking this, I mean, the brand, the Svengali stuff that started all that, you were there from the beginning, and I think not a lot of thought was gone into it initially, but because of the simplistic identity and stuff like that, specifically for Svengali, it made us reach a lot more people because they were able to identify exactly who we were right off the bat.
Yeah. I think for me the best way to that I can kind of think about it is, if you meet someone, you could hear them and see them, you're going to be more connected to them. Like if there's a face to the name and a face to the voice, you're going to be a lot more connected to them, and it's going to feel more real and more at home. And there's going to be like a connection built, like a trust. You establish more ground, and I think it's the same exact way with having an identity as an artist, because if you don't have that kind of visual presence, I mean, it's just like it's not the full picture. You know what I mean? Pun intended. But you basically have to have that. But as you said, Adnan, like don't force it. Don't think too much about it. Just let it happen. Yeah.
But actually, I want to ask you that. Your brand, as Misha was saying, is very simplistic as well. It's just your first name, Hadi. There's very minimal additional artwork to that. You've been. I'm going to cut to a photo of you here using your X. We're cutting to a photo of Hadi wearing a T-shirt with that X on it, where I believe you spray painted the X on that T-shirt. So can you just tell me a little bit about like the thought process behind that? Did you intentionally go out to create this kind of brand, or did this just happen?
It just happened. I basically hired a company to do my press kit, and the guy sent me back this amazing design, and part of it he had the X in like the corner somewhere, and it had the frame. So if you go into my Instagram, the frame with the X, this was kind of the design he sent me, and I was like, this looks so cool. Like it was striking to me. And from there on, I just started using it, and I didn't even think of it. Like this was, I think, more than a year and a half ago now that I've been doing this, and that the X has been part of my kind of presence. So that's been the case since then, and it's like now part of, I make these spray painted clothes for me to wear when I'm on stage, so it's part of the brand. I just did this artwork on Converse shoes as well that had the X on it as well. And honestly, like for me, I just connected to the way it looked. It looked really cool to me. I don't know if the X represents a certain aspect of me being like rebellious nature or something like that. I don't know, to be honest. Like I've never really philosophically broke it down. It's just something that I identify with, and it looks cool. And like people really connect with it, which is awesome. Like whenever I wear, the logo to a show, or it's like there's always a reaction. So it's very cool. Like it's nice because I didn't like sit and like obsess over it. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say that. Now that it's become part of the brand and part of the identity, like let's talk to the guys in the comments. Anyone who's starting not only a band, not only in the music, not only let's say like a shop or a restaurant or anything like that.
Yeah.
Does the authenticity of the way that came out kind of not bleed, but that's a very disturbing way to say it. But does it seep into the audience? Like, do you get comments saying, it's so simple, it's an X, like I'm throwing it up on the screen again. But you somehow made that rounded X a logo. It basically became a symbol that you represent. Does anyone come up to you mentioning the X in any other way? Like do they
comes
say
up in conversations a lot? Yeah, go ahead.
For me personally, whenever I see a rounded X anywhere, even if it's got nothing to do, even if it's not a proper X, if it's just almost there, I immediately think, that might be a Hadi thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that works. Like that's the cool part, And I've had people like send me, like if they see an X somewhere, they send me a picture of it. It's like it's become a thing. And the cool part is that I didn't intend for it to be that way. It just kind of happened. And that's my favorite part, because it's like, I mean, you know me, man, and I'm sure it's the same for you. I have an obsessive personality, and if you give me something to obsess about, I will obsess, and I will get creative about how I obsess. So for me, it was really nice to see something work without me having to obsess about it, and it's almost like a template for me to follow now. Like I don't have to like struggle and bust my ass to get something that's working. Maybe sometimes it can be easy,
Absolutely, man, Misha, that was a good question. We kind of went off on that one. Yeah. Mikkel says, Alberto listened to some of them and let me know. And Alberto actually responded, oh my God, Castles is stunning. I love his voice.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you so much.
Connecting musicians to people right here, man. Thank you, Alberto. Thank you,
and Mikkel, thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Judy says, Fadi, share a link for me. Thank you. And hi, Hadi. I think that's when we were introducing you. Ala is asking, which musician would you like to collaborate with next?
Eminem.
That's out there.
Yeah, that's super out there. What about you?
That'll be amazing. I don't know. I never, unfortunately for me, I've done very little collaboration. And as Ramzi can attest to in the comments, I suck at actually committing to collaboration.
It's hard. It's hard to collaborate.
It is very hard. But I've just kind of done my own thing. I've never done a collaboration before. I'm not sure if I have.
Yeah.
I don't think I have. But who I'd like to collaborate with is, man, I'd like to do something way out of my wheelhouse. I'd like to do something that's not metal, like play bass on a track or do something like that, which I kind of got to do with Desert Experiment. And just quickly before, for the people that don't know what Desert Experiment is, Desert Experiment used to be, is, but is on hold now, obviously, because of the circumstances, is a concert series that gets musicians from all around the Middle East and puts them together in a room, and they kind of pick out groups and start working on covers and start working on originals and kind of make different songs their own, and they put on this concert series. It was almost yearly, I believe, but it was one of those things where musicians from around the Middle East just kind of get together and experiment, man. Like, I mean, I think you and I did a couple of songs 2 years ago together. And it was just so stuff like that. I'd love to do more stuff like that. I'd love to do more live collaboration stuff.
Man, I have so much respect for Gorgon for, like, you know, he puts himself out there, and he, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of investment of time and efforts, and, you know, investment of money as well. So mad respect to Gorgon for doing that. Absolutely.
Gorgon, for those that don't know, is the organizer and the owner of all things Desert Experiment. Alberto says, my heart. Yep, go ahead, Michael. Yes, you both wrote a song for Desert Experiment with me. Absolutely. I forgot about that. We actually wrote an original song for Desert Experiment with me show. I don't think I actually wrote anything on that song, but I definitely performed my heart out when it came to it. I loved.
It was good fun, man.
I think actually that was the first time I ever screamed someone else's lyrics. I'm not sure, outside of like Desert Experiment, I don't think I've ever recorded someone else's words, which is weird given the fact that, you know, I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah, seriously. But that's cool, man. Like I always feel like, you know, I want to write the words that I sing, and it's not going to be the case every time, because you will collaborate with different people, and sometimes it's not your words that make the cut. You know, like I've collaborated with Sean Warner, and we're actually doing another song together that I'm going to be recording vocals for. But the lyrics were basically we co-wrote, but a big chunk of them was written by him in the verses, and that one felt really good. But sometimes it's like you're worried that the words are not true to you, so I don't know. Like, would you still do a song if the words don't feel like they're true to you?
I don't think I would know how. I don't think, given the way I perform vocals, I don't think I would know how to physically deliver it in a way that JM always says. JM's the guitarist in Svengali, who produced the last album we did, where he would just say, "I don't believe you."
Which that's a good one.
Yeah, I just think is a. Do you guys hear that?
What is that?
That's a fire alarm.
Damn.
It goes off 9:20 every single night, so it's.
Where are you supposed to go? You're not allowed to leave the house.
I know. It's just one of those things. It goes off every night, so it's The Boy Who Cried Wolf, unfortunately.
Just sample it and make a song out of it.
Gorgon's reminding us that Desert Experiment was actually 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, time flies, man. Time flies. Crazy. So I want to jump into something with you that isn't as glittery as most of the stuff we've been talking about. Let's talk about a little bit about burnout, because I think a lot of people here like the trajectory of, like, you know, I worked hard, I got this and I got that. I got signed to a label, I released my music, and it was good. But burnout is a bitch. Let's be honest. Burnout is a real thing.
It is.
And I think let's just for someone that's, you've been averaging a song a month for a while since your full length album. Let's talk a little bit about burnout. How does it hit you, and what do you do to get out of that cycle?
Yeah, so I get burnout quite a bit, but it doesn't last long, to be honest. And I think my approach to it is I try to be as compassionate to myself as possible, in the sense that if I need to take a day off, I do it. I try not to overbook myself, and make sure that there's enough space for my mental health. I like to have slow mornings. I wake up super early in the morning and I work so much until like, I don't know, 10, 11 a.m. And I'd have a majority of the work done. And then, be it mixing, mastering, editing, creating content, whatever it is, like I just get a big portion of it done in the morning. And then, but some days I need to wake up and I need to not work, and I allow myself to do that, and I think it's just because I have like a system, and I think if you have a system, you know how long it'll take you to get something done. You'll know when you can, give yourself some slack, and just take it easy. And I think mental health is super important. And I think longevity, like you don't want to go out there and write like, 15 songs in 1 month as a challenge and then not be able to write songs for the rest of your life. Do less now. Absolutely. If you need to, and just allow yourself to have the longevity. And it's like, think of it as that, what was it? Turtle and rabbit thing. Is that? Yeah, exactly. That like, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
For me, I like to function slow. I like to work slow. Having said that, because I know my system and I've kind of been doing this for a long time, I can work fast. And I'm sure it's the same for you. And like you develop the system where you can just churn out things, songs, lyrics quite quickly. And sometimes you need to shift things around.
You'd think so. I can do it with video. I can definitely do it with video content now. The way I was working before last year, a lot of people know me from the work I did last year. We were churning out a video a day. And that's writing, filming, editing, and uploading every single day. Wow. So for video, I kind of got my pace. But with music, I'm still too emotionally involved for it to be.
I know what you mean, man. Yeah. I don't know. I think with burnout, you just need to know. You need to be honest with yourself, and you need to know yourself. And no one, like, I think the biggest thing for me was to actually accept that I don't need to explain or give excuses or prove myself to anyone. I just do it at my own pace, what feels right for me in my head and my body and my soul. And then everyone else, whoever's going to get upset or pissed off, whatever, man, it's all good. They can feel better and they will feel better. It's just that I need to take care of myself, because I know that, mental health is something that I've struggled with before. Yeah. And sometimes I do still as well. And it's so important, especially when you're a creative and you're kind of hanging in the balance all the time. It's I don't know.
100%, and I think just anything you're doing in terms of like going off the path and going outside that box and all those other metaphors, when you're doing something that's out of the ordinary, I think there's a heightened level of sensitivity to not only to like the outside world, but to your internal monologue, your internal that voice inside your head it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that self-doubt, and how you can get out of that and use that to your benefit, where it's like you're one of those people that I remember you and I talked about ages ago, where it's like when you doubt yourself, instead of just stopping, kind of try to prove yourself wrong in a way. Yeah, which I think was one of those lessons that I think are invaluable. I mean, every musician knows that you definitely look back and go, "Damn, I wish I did that better." But thank God it's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. All of them, every single thing, every single song I listen to now, I'm just like, why is that like that? But I'm glad, because at that moment in time, like I'm releasing a song in 2 days. I'm sure I'll listen to it in a couple months and be like, what the hell is going on in those sections here? Absolutely. But right now, it feels right to me.
Absolutely. I mean, you were there. You not only were there, you were facilitating the first Svengali stuff. And when I look back at Unscathed and I hear my vocals, and I'm like, I mean, I love the fact that we did that. That opened the doors to do Theory. That opened the doors to do Sayonara. But now that I'm like, I practice 2 hours a day. I take care of myself. I take care of my voice. I quit smoking. I used to be a smoker, and all the stuff that came with like, you know what? I want to own my craft. Now when I look back at it, I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
Yeah, but if you hadn't released those stuff, you wouldn't be where you are now.
Exactly.
Like that's the tangent.
Exactly. You know? That's where it's one of those what is it? What's the term? Self-deprecating kind of jokes, like where you're like,
yeah,
you can make fun of yourself, but only you can make fun of yourself.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something, man. Like if you take instrumentals of like any stuff that you've done before, and if I take instrumentals from the songs the songs in question, we'll say that, right? And if you try to re-record the vocals, I bet you anything, man, it's just not going to feel right. It has to be that.
It has to be that.
Whatever is. Yeah, it has to be that. It has to be that thing that you're kind of like, I don't know, but that's the right thing for it.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm gonna cut off here and just say the guys, this thing. Wait, where is it? Right there. Is if you share the stream, if you guys want to support us, if you guys want to drag more people into the show, if you guys want to talk about creativity, inspiration, and motivation a little more, share it. This thing is, if you share it, your name pops up here, so you become kind of a producer of the show. You guys are a distributor, sharing it around and helping us get the word out. And we're also going to jump into the comments. Nicole is asking, what is your worst fear in music?
Oh my God.
That's a good
showing
question,
up to
Nicole.
a gig to play and nobody comes. That's the biggest fear.
I think worst fear in music. I think I agree with Hadi. I think if no one connects to your music whatsoever, if you release a song and everyone just goes, that'll like break my heart. That'll just.
Mish no, I love it or hate it. I have no reaction to it.
I would 100% completely accept someone saying, you know what, fuck that song. I hate your song. Your song is shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Accept it.
100%.
But if no one says that and everyone goes, that'll be devastating.
Oh, that's a cool song. What do you guys want to have for dinner? That's the worst.
Yo, you guys, I just played the album. It took me 5 years to write and record this. Oh, really? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Christos is in the house. Christos, hello Hadi and hello Adnan. Thank you so much, brother, for tuning in. It means the world to us. John is saying, I totally agree, and the longevity is different for everyone. For bands with 4 or 5 members, this becomes a challenge, but you have to work through that. Sorry, John, I'm hitting the C more. But you have to work through that and come to a happy medium. Sometimes burnout can happen in some members. At that point, they need to be honest with themselves and the band, and the band rides with it. Yeah. So. 100%, man. I mean, I could speak personally about Svengali and the things that we've been through. It hasn't necessarily been burnout, but there's been times where we had a lot of member changes. Some of the members are in the chat right now. I mean, shout out to Fadi, shout out to Khaled Tamimi, and even Bailuni to a degree. He sessioned for a lot of the shows that we played abroad. Yeah. I think what happens with a band where members aren't aligned, whether it's burnout or just physical inability to travel. Like, I don't want to get into detail, but one of our members wasn't able to travel for logistical reasons, and that's when the band, and I think a lot of musicians just either cut the tie or go with the flow, and it's so much harder to say, you know what, we're going to continue going, we're going to keep pushing the boundaries, we're going to try and do this without someone that started off being a member, without someone that's you know, especially in Svengali, we're fucking brothers. I mean, we call everyone family, and they still are brothers, but it's just really hard. I think that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Is just say, look at someone. It's not easy, man. Look at someone that's built this thing with you, and say, you know what, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So I hope that adds to that comment. It's not only burnout, but a lot of elements come into play, and anything outside the unit kind of messes it up for me.
It's a crazy ride, man. Like, you never know what you're gonna go up against. You know, it's insane.
Absolutely, 100%. Alberto is asking you. Alberto liked your song, so you got to answer this.
Nice.
Where do you take inspiration?
So each one of my songs is from personal stories. Some of them are exaggerated to make the songs work, but honestly, I think most of them are not. To be honest, like, it's just personal experiences. Castles is a song about, you know, reaching out to someone, and it's like you can see something in them, and you know that things can work, but they're off on a strange path, and it's like you're trying to pull them out. You know what I mean? And my new song, All the Lights, is kind of like a reassuring kind of song.
Which is coming out on Thursday, by the way.
Yeah. In 2 days,
you need to get better
my new song,
plugging your music in.
Yeah, I really do. I really to have somebody like walk with me and just tell me like, yo, this is a good time to like throw something in there.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, thanks, man. But Alberto, you can follow me on Instagram. Whoever else actually doesn't know about my stuff, you can follow me on Instagram at Hadi Plays Music. That's where most of all of my posts go up. You can keep track of what I'm up to. So yeah, All the Lights is a song about. It's kind of like a friend. Like, you listen to the song and it's like, you know, it's a reassurance kind of thing, kind of like a warm blanket.
That's a good comparison there.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I always go for the old T-shirt, for the comfortable PJ. That's a good one. That's a good one too. When you wear that old comfortable pajama and you're like that T-shirt you used to sleep in, and you're like, damn, this feels like home.
Yep.
That's one of those. Is that
the one you binge Netflix on?
Exactly. Is that kind of what the song sounds like to you?
I think so. It's more, It's I would definitely say that it's definitely like things are gonna be okay kind of song. Like, you know, lean on me kind of vibe. You know.
That's good. I like that. I like a lot of positivity in music. I don't know if you know this, Hadi, but obviously he does. Christos is saying, I think Christos is replying to John Baker. John Baker, it's all about each individual in a band, his personality, and what kind of baggage everyone's carrying with him. If people are genuine, generally things tend to work out in a band.
Yeah.
That was a tongue twister.
I agree.
Tongue twister. But yeah, absolutely, I agree as well. John Baker is replying to Chris, totally agree. This is an extension of what I was saying. Been in band for 29 years and totally can relate with what you're saying. Like Motor Militia, we have had times where it's not aligned or shit happening in someone's lives. Shit happens and we go with it. But at the end of the day, we are family in a sense. John Baker, I did not know you were in Motor Militia. Motor Militia is Bahraini metal band.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm a fan of. Hey, man, how's it going? Thank you for tuning in. I did not know you. Let me know what member you are in the band. I did not know you were in Motor Militia. Chloe, what's up, Chloe? How's it going? Thank you for tuning in. I expected as your worst fear losing inspiration. I guess music is all about connecting with people for you guys. So she's referencing what we answered as a worst fear when it comes to music, and I think the reason it wasn't losing inspiration is I think that's, for me personally, is such a far-fetched idea. I think, I mean, I've had a glass of water and like thought of an idea for a song or thought of some lyrics, and I think inspiration is something that's intertwined in becoming or deciding to become a musician. I don't know, Hadi, help me out here. I'm trying to.
I feel like if you have the ability to be inspired, it's almost like you're like a receiver. You know, you have the antenna is working, and you can receive ideas and you can receive inspiration, And I think once you are a receiver, you will always have that, always, unless you go down a road where you don't nurture it and you don't take care of yourself, or, but given that you're taking really good care of yourself, your head's in the right place, your heart's in the right place, and you nurture it physically, mentally, spiritually, you will always be inspired. I think sometimes you get too much inspiration and you don't know what to do with it. When you should be resting, it's like, I'm sure Adnan can chime in on this. It's like sometimes you need a day off, but you're just inspired and you're excited and you start working and tinkering when you, one, don't need to, and two, you just need to kind of like, your body needs you to just lay back and do nothing.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know if James in the comments still or not, but I keep referencing James because we just recorded an album and everything's still fresh in my mind.
Tag team.
Yeah, but there have been times where we decided the album's done. The album's completely done. Yeah. But then I text him suddenly and I'm like, yo, I have this idea. Would you write a riff for it? Hadi, can you take over the comments for about 30 seconds? I'm just going to change the battery on this camera.
And I need to get my charger, but I'll do that after you. So I'll take over the comments until you come back.
Hit it.
All right, let's see. Monica, what's up? John Baker, yeah, bro, lead singer, very nice. Are there any bands that you used to like then grew out of? Oh my, it's going to be a dissing session. Let me think. I don't think so, to be honest. I have not fallen out of love with any bands. I mean, I'm sure I did, but I can't think of any right now. So, what's up? So I'm gonna go grab my charger because my laptop's like 4%.
All right. While Hadi goes and grabs his charger, go for it, bro. I want to ask you guys about your passion, your project. What is something that you've always wanted to do? What is something that you guys wished you kind of not pushed more, but kind of incubated more? I know John is in a band, Christos is in a band, Misho is here, he's in a band, JM is obviously in my band, Dana is a musician, she's a fantastic piano player who's classically trained and kind of an insane person to have around when people like me are talking about music. So let me know what your passion projects are, or not passion projects, but you know what I'm talking about. What is the thing you wished you gave more attention to? Hadi is back. I'm just letting you know that my wife is pointing at herself. When I asked what is something you should have given more attention to, she went, yeah, thank you, Tara. So the question I was asking them while you were gone, I don't know if you heard it, but the question I was asking everyone is, what is something that you wish you would have put more attention on, given more attention to, kind of incubated more, tried to hone the craft a little better? And the first comment is Ola saying painting. Now this is something about you, Hadi, that is interesting, is that you started artwork, painting, that kind of stuff very, 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 very recently, I was just going to say. And this kind of took off and sorry, I don't know if you're muted or not, but you...
I am not.
Okay. Guys, give me a thumbs up or a wave or something if you can hear Hadi. But what is the thought process behind that? And something that you started very, very recently, kind of integrated into the music that you were creating.
Yeah. So for me, I think painting was like because when you're working on music and it's like it's work. Like I love it, but it is work. It's my job, and so sometimes I need something to do that is like not music that I can that it's okay for me to suck at, and it's okay for me to not like. I have a competitive nature, man, and I like art is like a good escape from from trying to compete with myself on how good I can be and how much better I want to get, and writing the best song I've ever written and all of that stuff that keeps me up at night sometimes.
Yeah.
So art is like, I'd been watching a lot of YouTube channels of people just kind of like creating abstract art, and it's so inspiring. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out and buy some brushes, some paint, and see what happens. And it was so fun, and I realized that I was able to like. Go ahead.
Is this something that you intentionally were watching, or is this something that you would have been watching anyway? Like, this is something that you do. You watch some abstract art artists on YouTube and then decided to do it.
I would.
Were you learning basically?
No, I was watching to relax, man. Like, I'd watch hours of it. Just like, I'd watch the entire category of videos on. It's just so relaxing, you know what I mean? And since then, I just kind of like started doing acrylic paint pieces in the beginning. I basically then switched to like spray paint art. But spray paint is something you can't do indoors, so it's only like, to me, it's going to be seasonal. Like, I can't do it during the summer here because I'll literally die outside. You know what I mean? So acrylic paint during the summer probably, and now I'm doing some digital work, and it's just seeped into like my merch and kind of part of the branding thing as well. So it's super cool, and honestly, none of that was intended. Like, the branding stuff is stuff I started to do recently. Before that, it was just all like just something to exercise, like away from work, and just something that would really be an escape truly for me. You know what I mean? Like an environment that I'm not good at, and I know I'm not good at. So
it kind of puts things in perspective when of just how far the spectrum of the journey has been, right? When you had to find a new art form to create for yourself to escape from the art form that you've intentionally gone after. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it came back into it.
It's kind of a all-encompassing journey of just creating. So Tara, Dana says, Tara, it's okay, I'll give you the attention. Thank you, Dana. No, you should not give her attention. Fadi says Hadi's voice is gone, but everyone else says it's okay. Is just let us know if you can hear and see us both fine. Like I said, I keep saying this. I'm very new to this. This is the third episode, which I'm proud of, but I still have a lot of kinks and technical stuff to work out. So let me know if you can hear Hadi. I'm actually trying to record a song with Fadi playing acoustic guitar.
Nice.
Nicole is saying that. Nicole is Fadi's wife, and Fadi is the guitarist and backing vocals of Aramaic, who also used to be in Svengali and is someone that Hadi has worked with extensively.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to hear that, Nicole. It's a very small, tight-knit scene, so I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, man.
Munir Baalbeki says, writing and music. Where is it? Writing and music. The earlier convo on the perfectionism rings very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
It's so hard, man. It's so hard not to be a perfectionist, but it's so hard to like living life as a perfectionist. It's like, nothing is ever perfect, you know? You can never, ever deem anything as perfect.
And personally, I've had a lot of friends that have, when you come back and you meet a friend after a long time, they're like, yo, I'm working on this project. I've been working on this album for a while. And then you meet them again 3 years later, and they're like, yo, I'm still working on that album. And I'm like, yo, like life...
Painful.
Life has changed. Everything's changed. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm someone that has been guilty of just nesting on something, but I think if any advice from Hadi or I think it's just get that shit out there.
Yeah, put it out there, even if it sucks. Just put it out there.
So Fadi's saying it cut off for a few seconds. I guess we're back. It was just a few seconds of you gone.
And I'm just gonna say, whatever Munir's stuff, like, he's such a talented guy, one of the best guitar players. Honestly, his right hand is terrifying. and yeah, he writes amazing music. I won't say anything about what it is, and because that stuff belongs to him. And but yeah, he's an incredible musician, and yeah, just sending a brotherly shout out. Yalla. I would love to do a metal project with our band and another metal band in Bahrain, put it all together with a recording video, but keeping the same genre of each band in the song. I started talking to some guys already. I think it would be a very cool project.
That sounds like a great idea, John.
Yeah.
And personally, for me, I think collaboration is one of the like foundations of just being creative in general. I mean, everything I've been able to achieve, even in terms of like, let's call it career, like something that would sustain me, has just been basically a collaboration that has evolved. So collaboration in terms of creativity is 100% cool. I think it's one of the coolest 100%. Things. But John Baker, I think you need to think outside of Bahrain, because I absolutely love the Bahraini scene. I think you guys, for one of the smallest countries in the world, have one of the strongest metal scenes ever. And I recently talked about it in this Metal Hammer magazine article that they wrote. They asked us about 10 bands that we think are absolutely amazing in the Middle East. And unfortunately, we didn't talk about Metal Militia because you guys weren't on my radar. We were talking about Smoldering and Forgotten from Bahrain. But I mean, I know Metal Militia. I've probably seen you guys live some point over the last 10 years, and I think we need to like unite this Middle Eastern metal scene and create something together, man. I always I don't know if you know this, Hadi, but do you remember the Roadrunner United DVD?
Yeah, of course.
One of my like dreams in life is to create a Middle Eastern version of that Roadrunner United DVD of just getting.
The talent is there, man.
Which is basically Desert Experiment, but Desert Experiment is not necessarily only metal. It's a bunch of other things. But so John Baker, we're gonna be talking to you and I a lot about a bunch of collaborations, and hopefully the next Desert Experiment when this madness is over. I think Hadi, you need to take this next question, and also. By the way, Hadi and I haven't talked about this before, but you need to tell me when you need to go, because these guys.
I don't know, man. I don't know how this thing works.
We basically, when I started, I thought it would be a 30-minute conversation, but nice. Since the last episode with Hamad, we thought, you know what? As long as people are enjoying it, as long as people are tuning in, as long as we continue to discuss topics that are relevant for everyone watching, we can keep going. So whenever you want, just give us a shout.
Sweet. All right, guys, it's day 15. We're still here. We're hanging out. Supplies are low, but we're still talking.
We're out of toilet paper. So Ola's asking, how do you meditate? So that's something for you, because I don't think I do.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Listen, for me, I got into meditation just exactly when I quit my job and I, was trying to get myself healthy in my head. And I started off doing guided meditations and stuff, which is cool. But right now, I don't really do guided meditations anymore. For me, meditation could be, for the most part, it's just me like laying down, breathing slow and just like, kind of gathering my thoughts or thinking of nothing and just kind of having a, like just getting myself to feel elevated, just having that as my intention. And another way is for I could be playing guitar, and if I'm in a zone and I feel it like coursing through me, that's a meditation. Art could be painting, could be, so it's, you don't have to do the meditation formally. It could be anything that makes you feel good. That is a meditation. So as long as you do it long enough for you to kind of really step back and just breathe in slow and all of that.
Yeah, I mean that's the only answer you're gonna get, Ale, because I've tried meditating with all my heart. I definitely have tried. Yeah. My wife Tara does it. She's into meditation, yoga, and all that stuff. But you know that guy from what's that movie, Ice Age? That just I'm that guy. I'm the squirrel. If I lay down for more than 5 seconds, I'm like, ooh, cool.
What's his name? Scrat, right? Scrat is the name.
I have no idea. I actually don't know. I've never watched the movie. I've only watched the clips of him with the nut.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
Hamad says, good point on nesting on creative projects. Do you feel there's an expiry date on creative projects or types of creative projects?
Yes, 100%. If it sits there and you don't take action about it, and you start thinking about something else, it's like, that's also one of my greatest fears, that like I would just lose track of, the system that keeps me going with releasing music. And that's why for me, it's like every month I have to release something. And it's like, write, record, get it done, move on to the next thing. And it's just all about like, I don't know, productivity. Is that the right word? I don't know.
I personally think it is. I think also just from my like personal perspective is not only is there an expiry date in terms of the project, but there's an expiry date of how you feel in that stamp of time. Sayonara took a really long time to make, and what I learned over the years, and we've scrapped full vocal lines and lyrics because I wanted to re-record something. Because I felt this is more specific to music than it is anything else. But for me, the creative output is a stamp in time. This is how I felt in that moment, and this is a picture of what I was doing. And I felt the longer Sayonara took, the less I related to my own lyrics, and I wasn't able to perform the same lyrics believably because I was just not there anymore. So we had to rewrite and redo those things. So I think that's my take on it. I don't know how it would apply. Hamad's a great artist. He does a lot of I don't know what to call it, but actual art, like this amazing sketch kind of line art and dot work and stuff. So I don't know how that applies to that kind of art, but in terms of music, for me personally, he's also a musician, so I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying.
How hard was it for you to like completely rework a song lyrically and vocally?
It was the most painful thing in the world.
Painful in the sense of letting go of the old thing, or being or so hard to hear something new. Like how?
Both. For me, that demotia, which is when the demo is completely stuck in your head. That was 100% happening. Where if you hear a bit of the music, your mind goes straight to the lyrics and the melody and all the stuff you've been hearing for the last whatever it was, like 3 years. So that was very difficult. And then kind of completely pushing that aside, pushing everything you've already done, and also even if you don't relate to it right now in this moment, it was something you felt, and saying, the way I felt 3 years ago is now irrelevant. Kind of was this mental game that I had to go through, where I was kind of contradicting myself, like no, I don't feel that way, but also it's relevant, which is this weird. But it was a very interesting process, and I'm glad we went through it. It was we have a song on the album called "Shedding Skin," and this album literally is like pulling skin. It's pulling teeth, kind of overcoming all that stuff. So that's one of the reasons it was called Sayonara. It's like goodbye to the old chapter kind of thing. That's cool, man. That's cathartic. Absolutely. Let's keep going with the comments, man. I absolutely love that you guys are consistent with the comments. Munir says, thanks, my dudes. Since you bring up the Bahrain Nar Jahannam are dope AF. Absolutely. I don't know if they're still around. I don't know if I should say I know what they're doing now, because then that gives out who they are. And I know that we're not advertising that, but they're good, and I really look forward to a new album if they decide to release it. Brendan says, I wish a good small-sized live venue reopens in Dubai. The scene died with the music room.
I love the music room, man. I miss that place.
You haven't played have you played the music room as Hadi, the solo artist?
Yeah. I played maybe twice twice, must have been. Once, I think it was that Absolus show. And then there was one more where it was me and Raif and Nasser Mistarihi.
Yeah. I remember that one. I was there for that one.
Twice.
Absolutely. So Brendan, the last one that I know of is the last place Svengali played, which is called El Barrio. But yeah, man. With this climate, let's hope the venues are staying head above water.
Yeah.
Let's hope all the establishments that relied on events, all the people that worked on events, are keeping head above water, man. Dennis says it's okay for your mind to wander during meditation. You just have to try to notice it and bring it back. Focusing on breathing helps. Yeah,
100%.
I will definitely give that a couple of more shots.
I will definitely not try this. Meditation is not for me.
I have tried it. I have tried it wholeheartedly. I promise you guys. I really have. It has been almost 2 hours with you guys.
Yeah, I think that's our time, right? Like we're breaking the servers here.
Absolutely. And I think just before we go, Hadi, give me I'm trying to start a band. I'm trying to make art. I'm trying to do something creative. What do you say to me? Give me the one-liner, the elevator pitch that'll keep me going. What do you have from that insane experience that we can give these people?
Yeah, I would say stay true to yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. If you're now, there's so much noise with Instagram and Facebook, and it's a blessing for you as an artist. But sometimes you might look and see other people doing better than you. Do not be disheartened. Keep walking the path. Your days will come, and just stay true to who you are, and that's the most important thing. Like, do it for you, and do it as if you're the only person existent on earth who is doing it. Like if you're a songwriter, write songs as if nobody else is writing songs. If you're a painter, paint like nobody else is painting, and just be yourself 100% all the time and trust your gut.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end episode 3. Thank you so much.
Thank for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, brother.
I'm inspired. I'm totally inspired.
Thank you, man. We got to have you on for a part 2. I think we can keep going for another 4 hours. I really do. And I think we could just talk.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for chiming in on the comments. Thank you guys for all the questions. Thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody. There will be another episode on Saturday, so make sure you tune into that. Hadi's links are all in the description of this video. Make sure you check it. All his platforms out, but he has a song coming out this Thursday, brand new single.
Thursday, All the Lights.
So check that out. Check out his full-length album. There's a bunch of, I think there's almost all the music videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah, every single one.
So we'll add the YouTube link in the comments when you guys rewatch this. Just refresh the page when we're done. I'll have the YouTube link in there. Thank you guys, man. This has been awesome. Thank you, Hadi, for tuning in.
Hola, John. Thank you, Adnan. You're awesome, man, and much love.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.